week. Okay? So, letdown spots. You have Wake Forest hosting Pittsburgh. Obviously, Wake Forest beat a top 20 team. That was overrated, but still, top 20 team. Oklahoma could let down against Kansas because they beat their rival Oklahoma State. Barely. Just a long game. Probably took a lot out of them, a lot of emotion. Boise State versus New Mexico. They took care of business against Fresno. How into this New Mexico game are they going to be? Georgia Tech hosting Virginia. Georgia Tech beat Miami. Now they're playing Virginia. Northwestern at Minnesota. I think that's a big letdown spot for Northwestern. They don't even have to win this game. How motivated they're going to be to play Minnesota when Minnesota's going to be like, we really want to win, right? So I will definitely be looking at where that spread comes out. Not a ton of upsets like you see it. It's kind of been a boring year a little bit boring. When you still have the main players up there, it's nothing's changed. And Wisconsin was never a main player, so please. But no main upsets. Get up spots. Oklahoma State versus TCU to make a bowl game. They still got to make a bowl game. Texas Tech and Baylor, they play each other, so they both lost. So this is kind of get up spots for them as well. Miami hosting Virginia Tech to make a bowl game. They need to make a bowl game. South Carolina at Clemson to make a bowl game now. Not exactly the spot that you want, but that's their get up spot. Good luck with that one. Houston hosting Tulane. That's kind of a get up spot as well. And Houston had that bad loss, so I think they get up and take care of business against Tulane. Well, possibly Tulane's been better lately too. Look ahead spots. West Virginia looking past Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. Look ahead spots. All right, we have West Virginia looking past Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. There's a lot of them because a lot of those big games are at the end of the year and some rivalries. So, definitely think about these. That West Virginia-Oklahoma game is going to be huge in a couple weeks. And then Oklahoma obviously looking past Kansas to West Virginia. So they're in a sandwich spot. Oklahoma beat Oklahoma State. And then now they're playing Kansas, and they're looking ahead to West Virginia. So remember that one. Washington looking past Oregon State to Washington State. And Washington State looking past Arizona to Washington. Now that's the biggest game left in the Pac-12. Wazoo versus Washington. They'll be both looking ahead to each other. Ohio State looking past Maryland to Michigan. Absolutely. Michigan looking past Indiana to Ohio State. Auburn looking past Liberty to Alabama is highly possible. And Central Florida looking past Cincinnati to South Florida. It's possible. It's a rivalry. South Florida played them really tough to overtime last year. And then South Florida looking past Temple to Central Florida. So that's your look ahead spots. And if you know of any, please tweet us at the Oddsbreakers. And without further ado, our Buffalo Bills friend, Mr. Eric Auerbach. All right, and now, all the way from New York, we have a real live Buffalo Bills fan to tell us what it's like to be a Bills fan. Came all the way here for this podcast. Well, maybe a few other things as well.
It's a curse, Kia. It's a curse.
I would like to welcome Mr. Eric Auerbach. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just escaped the wildfires out there in Oakland. So, happy to be here.
Yeah, you were just out there in California. Crazy. The air quality, I hear, is bad. So
nice clean air here in Phoenix, though, so it's good.
Well, you did what was right and stayed in the bar,
yep.
So didn't go outside much, I hear. So just like a Buffalo Bill fan would do, and I don't expect anything less. So there you go. So, well, let's get right into it then, my man. Real excited to have you. How does it feel to lose 2 Super Bowls in a row, and then tell me how it feels to then lose 3, and then 4?
Starting cruel here. I get it.
Let's just get it all out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many Super Bowls in a row did the Bears go to? Like, did they make 4
This
in a row?
is a Buffalo Bills interview, my man. So let's keep to the subject.
So, I mean, I was pretty young actually. I was probably in 4th or 5th grade when they made the first Super Bowl. But those were like the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas years, where like the Bills would run up the score 55-3. It was great. But so the first Super Bowl by far hurt the most. The Giants game, and by the way, it was Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator, and he like ground the clock out and made like the game miserable, and they won by like the Thurman Thomas almost got a winning touchdown and got shoestring tackled right before the Scott Norwood wide right. So that one hurt a lot because the Bills were the best team in that one. The other games, man, the Redskins and the 2 Cowboys ones, we just got crushed. So after that, it was almost like we got used to being just demoralized about the Super Bowl. But hey, we hadn't made the playoffs in 17 years. I would kill to lose in the Super Bowl now. So you take what you can get.
That's interesting because I the way I look at it, I am a Cubs fan, and for so many years we were the lovable losers, and it was almost like a camaraderie, and we lost a little bit of that when the Cubs won the World Series. Of course, I wouldn't trade it back, of course, but and so it's kind of interesting there. But it must have really hurt to go to the Super Bowls and then lose. At least with the Cubs, you didn't really see them in any World Series, so they didn't really rip your hearts out and become that close.
Oh yeah, we were national punchlines for losing, right? And and snow. So that's the other thing. So yeah, talk about lovable losers and just being the butt of jokes, man. Like Bills fans just get it from all angles. But hey, it makes us stronger. It's good character building.
That's what I'm saying. I was definitely worried about you guys' state of mind back then, and I wasn't too old either. But I remember how, just thinking about it, imagine what it be to be a Buffalo Bills fan. Well, moving on. Last week's blowout to the Jets, man. I have to ask you here. How did that make you feel? Did it make you happy? Did it piss you off? Did it give fans false hope?
I'm dead inside right now. The Bills have adequately made me dead inside by fielding a team that does not have a functional NFL offense. But Barkley looked good. They pulled him off the street, which shows you how bad our quarterback situation was when some guys getting pulled off the street, and he's a massive upgrade from what you had. But my sense is that it's going to come back to equilibrium. This is what the Bills do. They give you those one games, the game where they beat the Vikings out of nowhere, probably killed everyone's survival pools, right? They have these bursts of weird wins and then followed by crippling depression for many more games. So, yep, they'll end up 4 or 5 wins, just like we thought. And I'm dead inside. Yep.
Oh, I believe it. I'm one of those fans that would have used my team to bet against so I can at least make money off them. So I would have been extra pissed to see them beat the Jets that week.
The day you went all out would be the day they did these these crazy blowouts. But I mean, I think the Jets are terrible too. I think is what we learned as well. So.
Absolutely. So you got that there. And speaking of quarterbacks off the street, I think anyone in a wheelchair off the street would have been done better than Peterman did. And that brings me to my next question, Dave, from Dean Nasty, actually. Nathan Peterman, did you hear he got cut? What are your thoughts about that?
I saw that on Twitter today. It's about time. It's funny. It's a testament to the GM and the personnel department that literally they had A.J. McCarron on the roster, and he was supposed to be their veteran presence. And they had Josh Allen, who they're grooming, which he's a long shot to begin with, but definitely shouldn't have been thrown into the fire right away. Mm-hmm. But they shipped A.J. McCarron off to the Raiders preseason because they had so much faith in Peterman to be the starter. They see this guy every day in practice, and I don't understand how people in charge of NFL teams make these decisions. It's crazy, right? And they also try to put Peterman in last year, right? They were 6-5. They were in the midst of a playoff push. And what they do, they pulled Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman for really no reason that could be explained, and that exploded in their face as well. But he got a second chance. He blew that one. Got a third chance, and now he's gone.
Yeah, there's you got what they don't understand. There's players that can play in the preseason, but they can't play in the pressure of an NFL game.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the Bills.
He caught a few breaks. He'd had a lot of interceptions that bounced off guys' hands, then went back for pick sixes. But yeah, he was bad. Shouldn't have been on it.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the question that everyone's thinking about. What are your thoughts on O.J. Simpson? And did he do it?
If it does not fit, you must have quit, right? That's funny. Actually, OJ started showing up to Bills games like a couple of years ago, like randomly. And so it was funny. There was an article in the paper, like, what do you do, right? Because they didn't want to roll out the red carpet and usher OJ into like a luxury suite, right? But they also didn't want to like kick him out of the stadium and tell him to hit the bricks, right? So they said, they came out with a press release like, OJ is allowed to attend our games, but we shall not give him any special treatment. So yeah, OJ was coming back for like Bills games for quite a while, just sitting there like a Joe Schmo in the seats. It was pretty weird, but yeah, he pretty much he's a scumbag. Yeah.
I wonder if someone from the Bills paid him under the counter, just said, please just do not come.
So I guess his time in Buffalo too, he was like wild, just raging like cocaine fiend, and so they used to call him Blow J around like Buffalo back in the 70s. Yeah.
Well, that's some interesting information. I actually didn't know that, but I guess back then it was probably more of a socially accepted drug back then. Well, interesting. What would you say to OJ if you met him in person?
Oh man, loved your reality show when you got out of the clink, punked or whatever. He had some show. You see that? It was ridiculous.
Actually, I didn't. I try not to watch reality shows, but I didn't see that. But that's what you should say. Just forget about his football career. I mean, just talk about something that really doesn't matter to the Bills.
The OJ Punk style reality show is must see TV. Man, you got to watch it. It's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, there you go. We got an endorsement for his reality show from a true Bills fan here. And speaking about the Buffalo Bills area. Is it true that stores in Buffalo are not allowed to sell tables due to the Bills Mafia flying off of RVs with flying elbows, crashing down, breaking not only the tables but sometimes themselves?
Yeah, that's one of the best parts of being a Bills fan. I think is just smashing stuff in a drunken stupor outside the stadium because the game doesn't matter. So, I know when the Bills broke their 17-year playoff hex last year. They went down to Jacksonville to play in the wild card game. They outlawed the sale of tables in the Jacksonville area. So Bills fans were bringing tables with them on the airplane to like set them up in the parking lot of the playoff game to smash them. So
amazing.
Yeah, I still think you can get a pretty flimsily made plastic tailgating table around Buffalo, but you got to be in the right state of mind before you are ready to smash it and go Bills Mafia on it.
Yeah, probably bad for the carpentry industry or at least the table building industry around Buffalo at the time. Used to love the slam dunking too. People would bring those little hoops and slam dunk over opposing team fans.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Slam cam.
I think that the Bills Mafia was one of the first people that did that. So you got to definitely give these fans credit for all the utter despair that they went through. It made them become extremely creative and do awesome things.
Oh, yeah, we're innovators.
For cell phone cameras.
Yeah, we're innovators due to our cold weather and crappy football team.
Yeah, it's like a perfect marriage almost. So moving to the next question. What are your thoughts on Bon Jovi? And if for the fans that don't know, Bon Jovi tried to buy the Bills and then move the team away from Buffalo.
I think he was part of a group with Donald Trump, trying to buy the Bills.
Hey, let's not get into politics. It's a sports show.
Yeah, but yeah, so you can't play Bon Jovi in Buffalo bars. Like it'll be, you'll get a chorus of boos. So yeah, I'm an '80s rock lover. I appreciate Bon Jovi's work, but it's no bueno, man. Trying to buy Bills, moving to Toronto. Even the Toronto fans who come down to the Bills games don't want the team in Toronto because the tailgating scene is not as good. The Toronto fans are saying, "We don't want you." When they had a Toronto series for 5 years and it was a disaster, everyone hated it. The Canadians want to come down and drink in a field like everyone else. So,
they're smart. Smart Canadians.
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
They know the atmosphere of a game. I mean, I was there. It was absolutely amazing.
It's a fine people. Here, let me tell you a story here. So there was like a big snowstorm, like an October snowstorm, and a bunch of trees fell over in Buffalo. It was like a big deal. So they made